All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, we got a big fight going. It's happening December 21st. We got Tanner Boser taking on Ciryl Gane. We got a big heavyweight fight coming up, and I've got Tanner on the show. How's it going there, man?
Yeah, it's going good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm just wondering about this fight here because I know people have been talking about the whole Canadian connection as much as Ciryl Gane is technically a French fighter. There's the dynamic of him being the TKO champion and whatnot. Do you at all see this fight through the lens of figuring out who one of the top Canadian heavyweights as far as guys who've been on that scene have been, or do you not really look at it through that lens on the UFC level?
Well, I mean, again, he's not Canadian. He's from France. I'm Canadian. I'm the top Canadian heavyweight. But I get the angle of unified champ versus TKO champ. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Going to be an interesting fight in that regard. I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts on his skill set are heading into this too, because obviously he has the kind of deceptive experience in a way. Like he's got a kickboxing resume that kind of puts him at a commensurate level to combat sports experience with you. So what are your thoughts on his skill set?
I think he's quite well-rounded. I think he's shown that. He's got submission wins and he's got some takedowns in his fights. But obviously kickboxing is probably his strongest suit. Having that good professional kickboxing record before he went into MMA. Yeah, man, he's a good fighter. He's long and he uses it well, and he's good all around, but definitely a great striker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of wondering, are you working with the usual suspects ahead of this one? Like I imagine you're probably working with, Graham, KB, Christian, probably Teddy, like all those sort of guys.
Yeah, all my normal training partners. Probably my sparring partner most that I can get to resemble Gone is KB. So he's been a key component of this training camp.
Yeah, fair enough, man. And I remember I did an interview with KB a little while ago, and he was talking about how you actually played a central role in kind of getting him back into the sport when he was going through a pretty troubling time with his commitment to the sport and stuff like that. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that kind of situation, being able to impart some helpful knowledge to people in that regard?
Yeah, well, with KB, I mean, he had a great job. He was done school and he had got hired by one of the biggest accounting firms in North America or something. He's a smart guy, but he was very obviously miserable. Not just it wasn't me reading into anything. He would just be like, "Man, I fucking hate my fucking life." You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, why are you fucking doing that, man?" So I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I said what a lot of people said to him for whatever reason. When I said it, I guess it resonated. So I made him read a book. I gave him The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and I said, read this book. And KB reads a lot, so I knew it wouldn't take him long. So he read it, and then he quit his job. And I was like, I figured he would. I figured either he'd hate me or thank me one day. So we're not sure which one it'll be yet, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like Shaved Bears are firing on all cylinders. I know Graham, KB, and Christian all have unified MMA gold, and it seems like everybody as part of the collective is, at the best they've ever been. Is that kind of a collective sentiment that you share? Is there any kind of different energy in the gym in that regard, or is it more this is finally coming to fruition after the work we diligently put in?
Oh no, it's just more of proof of what we already knew. We have the best guys around, and most of the best, we have the best fighters in Canada, especially in terms of, like you said, the bigger guys, middleweight to heavyweight, right? So I mean, just having us all together in a room, we know how good we are, and it's a hard day every day dealing with this different skill sets and strengths of all the guys in that room. So when they go to unified and everybody's got a belt, middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight, it's awesome. It's just kind of proof of purchase. We know what we put in, so it just now they got belts.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, man, for sure. But I mean, got a quality win over a durable guy in Daniel Spitz and a guy who'd been on the UFC circuit. I'm kind of wondering what the feeling was after kind of going through some early stumbles with the situation with your opponent falling out in Edmonton and stuff like that. Was there what was the feeling, I guess? Was there any level of relief finally getting out there and kind of getting going, just because there were maybe some stumbling kind of moments before that were obviously out of your control, but still?
Yeah, no, the relief comes after the fight when you win. That's your relief. No, I mean, I said it before. I knew Daniel Spitz was going to show up and fight. He wasn't a guy who's ever tested positive or done anything stupid. He signs a contract and he shows up and fights. So I was sure that the fight was going to go through. So I mean, I'm glad it did.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I was just wondering if maybe that created some level of frustration. Not saying Spitz wouldn't show up, obviously, but was there? I guess maybe like an extra layer of, I guess, being excited about the victory just because you had the moment where you were so close to debuting and then it kind of got taken away from you. Like, was it? I guess, yeah, I guess it would have been a relief after getting the fight all together and stuff like that. But it seems like you're working at some, different places, like getting some, like, security gigs going on and stuff like that. So how has that kind of been? I noticed you were taking a lot of like private seminars, but you've also managed to get a few different security gigs, so that seems cool.
Yeah, well, I trained like a handful of people, and I still will if people want to train. It's fine, but I didn't have I wasn't training enough people to make um, enough money to just do that, and I kind of got offered a job doing just like security gigs, aka it's bound. I mean, I'm a bouncer at a club. That's it. These places don't pay great. It's nowhere near like Diamonds, like where I was working at before, but it is what it is. Luckily right now I'm making a bit better money in fighting than I was before because UFC does pay okay, but it's the frequency of fights that they're giving me is awesome. So that's key. Uh, it is what it is. Doing all right now.
Yeah, and to that point, like with us getting ready to enter the new year and stuff like that, is there any like desired schedule you would like in 2020, like an ideal amount of fights or anything of that sort?
I like to have 4 fights a year if that's realistic. I don't know. I have to play everything by ear, but I mean that this will be my fourth fight this year against Gone. Obviously just second in UFC, but I fought for Unified and for M1 earlier in the year. So 4 fights in a year is perfect. It's a lot, but I mean I got nothing else going on, so
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's good to keep busy and stuff like that and get out there and everything. It seems like some USADA issues have popped up though, in the sense of you got woken up at 7:30 in the morning. Has that been a bit of an adjustment curve at all?
well, that's the second time they tested me this camp. They've tested me 4 times total now. I don't mind. I don't care. Like I'm not on anything, obviously, but I mean, fuck. I worked the night before. I go to bed. I work till 3. I gotta drive home, shower. I mean, I'm in bed at like 4:30, and I get a phone call at 7:30 that they're at my door and they need to come into my fucking place and watch me piss. It's a huge fucking piss off, especially when I have in the app that I'm working at night, like that my schedule is like all on there. So, you know, shouldn't come as a shocking surprise when I'm a cranky, miserable fuck and you wake me up at 7:30.
Yeah, all they're gonna find in your system probably is like beef jerky and like a variety of cereals, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when they walked in my place, they should have seen the variety of cereals on my coffee table and just turned around and left. I'm like, yeah, okay. This guy's gonna test positive for gravy and fucking Coca-Cola.
Yeah, but I also we've been talking about like people you train with and have been connected with throughout martial arts. It also seems like your brother has been doing some great things. Like I saw he got gold at Arashido's jiu-jitsu tournament pretty recently, so that's really cool.
Yeah, no, he did really good. It was a good tournament. He teaches jujitsu out in Bonnyville. He's got a club. He's got like 30 kids, I think, and whatever, a handful of adults. It's good. Bonnyville's not a really big town. The only other martial art there's karate, and then there's boxing. But you have to be a bit older to join boxing. They don't have a kids program there. So jujitsu is another martial art option for kids and whatever for adults too. But he's doing a good thing out there, and he's having some success with it. So that's awesome.
Any plans for him to come out and check some of your UFC fights in the future? I guess it would be depending on if it's in relatively close proximity to him. But has anything like that been discussed? Because I imagine he'd.
Well, he was in Boston with me.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he's not coming to Korea. Korea's
Fair.
a pretty far jaunt, but yeah, he'll probably come whenever it's in North America anyway.
Yeah, and I haven't even touched on that point yet. I mean, you obviously traveled a fair bit with ACB, now known as ACA, obviously. Got to travel to some cool places. What are your thoughts on getting to travel to Korea for this one?
I don't care where the fight is. A lot of people have kind of asked me if I'm excited to go to Korea. I'm not really excited to go anywhere. I want to go there and I want to fight and I want to get paid and I want to come home. I my experience is gonna aid me in that. Like I mean, I've fought away on big time changes lots, so I mean it's nothing new to me. It's nothing new to Gone either. It's fine, but no, I'm not. I don't know much about Korea. It's not a place where I've had a particular interest in. I'm sure it's going to be cool. I'm going to like the experience when I'm there. Like I'm positive of it. I like experiencing other cultures and stuff, but I truly don't really care where the fight was. You know what I mean? Like I said, I would just as soon go to Winnipeg and there's literally nothing there. So I mean, just put me wherever you want for a fight. I'm good.
And we're talking about, how your brother can't be going to that one, but like with this fight coming up here, who are you looking to have as your seconds in the corner? Like, is Jeff Montemurro going to be there? Teddy maybe? Like,
Yep, yep. Same guys as last time. Jeff Montemurro and Teddy and Paul Peddle, Teddy's cousin. That's my three guys I had in Boston. Are back with me again. So perfect.
yeah, and I'm kind of curious too, like as far as like the latest on, like Benny and some of the other, people that are, getting helped out who are in like a bit of a tough situation, like part of the Shaved Bears family. Like, what's the latest on all that? I think I saw Benny was at an Oilers game recently.
Yeah, and then some of the Oilers were at. I think they were at the Stollery, signing stuff and meeting the kids. Like Connor McDavid was there. I saw a picture of Connor McDavid with Benny and his sister. That's really cool of them. Definitely a stand-up move by those guys.
Yeah, no, it's good to see people in the area coming together to help out with a situation like that. It's definitely like a heartwarming kind of a thing. But I was seeing something recently on Twitter that I thought was kind of curious. It was for the Hot 101.3 FM account. I think it was making some sort of implication that you might be coming out for Monster Pro Wrestling. Are you getting the pro wrestling debut going in 2020?
No. My friend, my friend, Massive Damage,
Oh yeah, I know him.
runs Monster Pro Wrestling. He's a good friend of mine. He had asked if I would like cameo in there in Bonneville, just because it's Bonneville, it's my hometown. So he just wanted me to be someone's bodyguard and just go and have a fun night. And I was down. The problem was it was on a Friday. I don't know if it was that this week or last week. Either way, it was just like a little too close to my fight, and I'm like, oh man, like I would love to. It would be fun, and Mitch was going to be there, so there was going to be some angle with me and Mitch. And I mean, I don't do any pro wrestling, but I mean, I was like, yeah, if you want me to come and stand in for one night, it'd be fun. But I just couldn't justify taking a day off training with the fight coming up, so I just had to kind of back out of that.
Yeah, no, it has to jive with your schedule and work properly and stuff like that. So maybe we can expect you hitting someone with a steel chair in the future.
Yeah, you never know.
I'm kind of wondering about the walkout song you got planned for this one too, because I know you came out to the safety dance when you were fighting in M1, and that was a big fire up. What do you got on the docket for this fight?
This fight, I'm gonna go with uh, From Here On Out by the Killers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of those guys. I remember one of the past interviews we've had, you were talking about liking their music. I think I also mentioned Manchester Orchestra as a band you might enjoy. Did you ever end up checking them out?
No, I haven't actually, and I'll probably forget again unless you like text me a reminder of it.
No, that's all good. And I'm kind of wondering, you getting the mullet all lined up with Morgan at Legendary Barbershop? Like, is that on the docket?
Oh yeah, actually, I texted her today to see what day she's working this week. The later in the week, the better. That way, it's the freshest for my fight. So hopefully she's working Thursday or Friday, and I can go down and get her all trimmed up.
Yeah, and like just kind of wrapping things up here too, because I'm kind of curious. I've seen some tweets about Christmas from you. Like you didn't end up getting the puppy the one year and stuff like that. And you've like never seen Die Hard, and I think you had like a drunken cousin like take your shoe, or you had a shoe taken at your cousin's Christmas party rather. What's your favorite part of Christmas? It seems like you have a bit of a history with that.
I love Christmas. I have a blast. I like going home and seeing my family and a lot of my like old friends just in town, and uh, I love eating and I love drinking, and I like giving presents and getting presents. Like Christmas is a great time. The day after, usually on Boxing Day, I have a bunch of my friends over and my brother and stuff, and we get drunk and play Cards Against Humanity. That's usually a blast. Usually some Smash Bros as well. Christmas is good vibes all around.
Yeah, I think things will time out well after this fight, with this being on the 21st and everything like that. But I'm curious, you've been good with your time, man. Is there anything you'd like to add, kind of as like a parting thought as we're wrapping up, though?
I just guess a shout out to my sponsors, Mealcraft, for feeding me, keeping me in shape. Paul Pedal Services, PPS, and Premier Built Garages. Those are the guys that are helping me out still. So shout out to all of them. And yeah, man, that's it. Thanks for your time.
No, it's great having you on, and it's going to be great checking out this fight too. UFC bout coming up between Ciryl Gane and Tanner Boser, a real high stakes heavyweight fight going on that card. And yeah, best of luck with the remainder of your preparations, man, and have a good rest of your night too.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.